I have been microdosing for over 7 years, and I think it's about time that I share a little bit more about microdosing, the benefits of it, how to microdose, who should microdose, all the information if you are someone that is interested in it, or maybe you're curious about what exactly is microdosing. Hi, I'm 𝐥𝐢𝐤𝐤, I'm a medicine woman, and I talk about all things plant medicine, full moon, new moon, all the things that help and support you working with the elements and healing. And I'm so grateful for the access to be able to connect with so many different plant medicines. And today I want to highlight one of the best allies that have really supported me with a lot of things. I would equally say that it has allowed me to be able to get up out of bed on some days, be able to show up, be able to heal, be able to connect to my true truth. And I'm so beyond grateful for this. So before we get into this video, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video. And if you are interested in working with me, you can go check out my link down below. Take a browse through the website, see where your heart feels led to, whether that's plant medicine retreats, one-on-one trainings, courses. There's a lot there. So I'll let you just browse and take a look. So I was sitting down and I was thinking, man, I haven't done a video about microdosing, and I want to do a little like microdosing 101 with you guys. And whether you've been microdosing or you have microdosed before, let me know down below what your experience was with it and what came up for you. And I hope that this video supports you. So I made a little note because there's so many things that I want to share with you, and I want to make sure I cover all the things and more. So the first thing is, what exactly is microdosing? Microdosing is when you take a small amount of a medicine, and specifically we're talking about mushrooms here, and you take a small amount over a period of time, and you also take a break. This is something that a lot of people don't talk about. It is connecting with the medicine every single day, a small amount of it, be able to connect with the spirit of the medicine, but that it's also important to have integration, period. And I feel there's a lot of misinformation out there about microdosing, and I'm hoping that this video is able to debunk and support you and have you feel more, I guess, aware and educated about microdosing itself. Now, when you're microdosing shrooms or mushrooms, I find like they don't like the word shroom. I don't use the word shroom. I feel like I like being called mushrooms. I don't know. I remember a journey I had that's not microdosing that I sat with, and they were just like, our names are mushrooms. It's like if someone were to give you a nickname and you're like, that specific mushrooms like doesn't feel cool with that. It's the same with other medicines too. I just feel like it's so important to connect with the spirit of its actual name, unless it gives you permission, of course. So that is what microdosing is, just to give you an idea. And a lot of other medicines you can't microdose. Like for me, I've done microdosing other tinctures, other herbs. I want to talk a little bit more about this on the channel, so let me know if you have any questions about just microdosing outside of mushrooms, and I could do a video on that. The second thing I want to talk about is who can microdose. So I am not a doctor. I am not advertising this is just a space where I'm sharing what has worked for me. Obviously, that is something that you can connect with, and if that is something that you're interested to go deeper into, you can just give me an email, share with me, and I will connect with you. So who can microdose? The biggest thing is people who are not in conflicting medications. So anything that is SRRI, which is anything that is like a mental medication, they don't really work well together. This is for all medicines though, especially when you go into the psychedelics. Psychedelics don't work well with, any mental medications such as antidepressants, anti-anxiety, people for bipolar, all those things. Those who are bipolar, those who might have epilepsy as well, things like that, it is so important for you to not sit with these medicines. I have had people who've had different thoughts on it, but personally I just feel like there's so many other medicines that give so many benefits, such as mushrooms, that you could do that are not psychedelic, that could support you. But for the most part, I would say that would be people that should not have these medicines. And I share the same thing with 𝐥𝐢𝐤𝐞, which I am a practitioner and a facilitator of 𝐥𝐢𝐤𝐞 as well. And that is something that I share is like, if you're on any medications, it can contradict. So just making sure that you are, first of all, you've weaned off of it, you haven't been sitting with the medicine for a while, you've had time to just really sit with yourself and to safely, after consulting with someone, a physician, how to safely remove yourself from anxiety pills or whatever it may be. That's going to really support you. Now, how has microdosing changed my life? There's so many things I want to talk about in this video, and I'm going to go into how to microdose as well after this, but I want to share about the biggest impacts. 7 years is a long time doing microdosing. It's a long time, and I didn't realize it until I was sitting there at my laptop and thinking of what are some interesting things I can share with you guys as far as medicine that can support you. And I do believe the education of microdosing is one of them. So microdosing came into my life, honestly, because I didn't want to take a medication for antidepressants. That's how it started for me. And I had seasonal depression to a point where it was hard for me to take a shower. It was hard for me to wake up. It was hard for me to just eat, make a meal. I would have days where I wouldn't eat anything. I would just have water, if I was lucky, some tea, and I just couldn't get out of bed. And it wasn't until I started to connect on my own healing path and connecting with other people who were very adverse into this medicine, where I started to work with the medicine. And I'm grateful now that I'm able to support that medicine in beautiful containers and really help souls. But all this to say is that microdosing really supported me with antidepressant, and what I felt the spirit of the mushroom was doing was it was reconnecting my neurons, which is one of the benefits of microdosing or mushrooms in general. And that's why it's very beneficial for people who have PTSD, people who have severe brain damage, people who have anything that is neurologically, that area, the neurons, like connecting the neurons, connecting the pineal gland, which is our third eye connected to the lower part of our brain. It can really help evolve and reconnect and actually create new cells into the brain while microdosing. So at this time, it was really allowing me to clear and cleanse all the negativity, which was a big part. And one of the benefits of microdosing mushrooms is it helps you let go of negative thoughts. It allows you to tap into a positive frame of mind, and it catches you. I find from the mushrooms, it teaches you how to catch how you talk to yourself and what you also expose yourself to. This is everything from music, the way people talk to me, allowing that energy to be in my field as well, and taking that energetic responsibility of, okay, no, this is not the energy I want to bring into my life or I want to have in my life. And that really shifted things for me. Another really big benefit with mushrooms is it really helped with my healing. I want to talk a little bit more about sitting, but there's a whole journey I want to talk and share with you guys about. If you'd like me to share about me sitting in ceremony with mushrooms, then let me know, and down below the mushroom emoji, and I can share a little bit more about that. But as far as microdosing, what it really helped me do is it helped me integrate the healing I did in a major ceremony with mushrooms. So what that looked like was I was able to sit with most likely the same type of mushroom and connect with the energy of it to help integrate that medicine, to integrate what I learned in that deep, potent ceremony I sat in. It also allowed me to integrate it in my everyday life. I always say healing is not a state, right? We are able to sit with these plant allies and weave them into our life and learn how to communicate with them constantly and how they can support us on a constant basis. And what mushrooms offer is that opportunity of choice, that opportunity of perspective, that opportunity of opening us up to how we are connected outside of ourselves and how that connectivity can impact us, our healing, the stories, the shadows, the way we see ourselves, the way we see our loved ones, the way we see life. And that's really what mushrooms are. If you look at the scientific connection of what energetically mushrooms are, they are, underneath the earth. They are the web of connectivity of all nature. And without them, we really don't have the ripple of the death and life cycle. They help support the living beings. You know, you see people as well as things go into the forest, and how many times you see mushrooms and you connect with them and you see their energy, and they always are growing off of a tree, off of a corpse of an animal. They're there to help us and teach us about how the physicality of things are given back to source and regenerated. And I think that was a big thing I learned. I learned about the cycle of death and life and how it's constantly in our life, even when we are not at the end of our own human life, if that makes sense. So for example, we're constantly in death and rebirth in relationships, whether they're intimate friendships, work relations. We're in death and life when we create, you know, new beginnings. Right, so these beautiful allies, these mushrooms, are here to support us, to prepare us with the one thing that we all are going to do, which is leave this meat suit that you and I are currently in right now. Right, that is something that is definite. There's the great mystery and the uncertainty of all life, but what these mushrooms have taught me is it prepared me to understand how to live in life and be okay with death is something we all have to face. But the eternal being that I am, everything I'm doing is supporting me for that eternal essence. And that was super potent for me. It spoke, rippled beyond my auric field, rippled within my soul, rippled in all aspects of me. And I'm so grateful for the mushrooms for that. One of the biggest things as well that mushrooms opened is my creative energy, my pineal gland. Oh, it was so amazing. I think over the 7 years, I've been able to find my voice again, sing, spoken word. Something you might not know about me is that for years since I was a little kid, I would actually write poetry and songs and hide them in my journal. It was a way of me expressing my emotions and what I experienced in life. And it's like I've been able to find that again and share that in ceremony. For example, when I sit in ceremony with you at retreats, I do offer that singing and connection and activation. And we are all creative beings. Right? We're meant to create. Look at a child, look at a baby, look at them testing and connecting with all things. And what microdosing and how it's changed my life is to understand that I have an opportunity to create anything that I want, as long as I allow myself to put that energy and flow it through that. And that is everything from song to voice to dancing. And we can't sit here and say, I'm not a dancer, I'm not a singer. Well, who created that rhetoric that you're not a dancer and singer? We all have a voice, we all can sing, we can all, activate within ourselves. And that is something that was probably, there was some shadows and there were some pains that I had with that, right? So for me, growing up in a family where everyone was musically gifted and I did competitive dance, but I felt like I was just having that critique that I wasn't good enough to be playing piano, playing guitar, playing the drums, and to refine that and to refine that within myself through these beautiful mushroom allies and connect and to understand what each frequency in my voice and what the feeling of the heartbeat of the drum playing it feels like, what the feeling of playing a piano feels like. Music energy is transmuted beyond words. That is why we have so many amazing artists that have passed in their physicality, but their energy and the goosebumps that we've received just listening to their music is beyond life itself. And that is something that we're all here. What mushrooms have taught me, what microdosing has taught me, is it allowed me to connect with my why every single day. It made me more intentionality with a big ceremony, which is life itself. And I feel a lot of the times there's so many distractions that can pull us out of us being consciously aware of who we are, where we are at, and just really outside of all of that, the state of being. And what these mushrooms provide is for us to be at a state of being constantly. And that allows us to not sweat the big stuff and to really focus on what really matters. And for every time, every season that differs, but every time you sit with the microdosing of the mushrooms, it shows you a different perspective that you were yet to explore within yourself. And that for me really opened my heart. Like I can feel this, it really did open my heart. It has opened my heart in the deepest way. And it has also purged my heart with grieving. It has purged myself with things and burdens that I've held, allowing me to release emotions when I need to. Now, I'm not saying you're gonna sit here, you might, but microdose and be like bawling your eyes out. You might have that experience for those who are sensitive like me on the medicines. But at the same time, you may have an experience where you feel that emotion, you feel that breath, you feel that spirit of yourself constantly. And it's something that it then teaches you when you are not microdosing the medicine, how to integrate that within yourself. Because remember, every plant medicine is an ally, right? We never want to rely on a plant medicine. If you are those people who constantly in ceremony, they're constantly you do not want to rely on this. If you're looking at microdosing as a way to fill out or to replace the medication you're taking, then this is not for you. Microdosing, the shift that I've learned over the 7 years of microdosing, is to heal yourself. And when you get to a point of healing where you can thank the allies and say thank you, and not depend on them for that healing, that is when you know the real intentionality of healing and plant medicines. This is something I educate a lot on and I talk a lot about, especially for those who come to my plant medicine ceremonies. And again, if that's something you're interested in, you can go check that out on my link down below. But the biggest thing is understanding that we are using this space as a tool. We have the privilege of connecting with these medicines and microdosing as a tool. It removes itself from a tool into a drug, into toxicity, into abusing that medicine. And with that, that can actually cause you to not get the benefits of that medicine. That medicine will not allow you to receive that because you're disrespecting that medicine. So plants are like people, really. That's the biggest thing. When you are microdosing, it taught me how everything is intentionality, everything is energy. This table I'm on, this camera I'm talking to, even though I can feel your energy through this camera, like everything is medicine, everything is energy. Right? And when we can understand and be aware of that, we have respect for everything around us. And in that respect comes tenfold. That love, that state of being, that essence, that integrity comes to tenfold. So microdosing mushrooms taught me about integrity. It taught me about the integrity of self and the integrity that I show and ripple in my world. And with that was healing. With that was realization. With that was humblingness. And I'm so beyond grateful for that. I'm so beyond happy that I have the privilege to be able to connect with such ancient wisdom that is here beyond lifetime, beyond my ancestors, to weave that, but yet they've recorded so much energy. When we talk about the spiritual healing of that, these beautiful, small but mighty energies in the plants can support us and actually connect us to ancestral healing. So I was able to see the coding of my ancestral healing, and right there with the mushrooms, it helped me in that. And I'm so beyond grateful for it. The last thing that I know, there's so much I could talk about, but I also want to do a Q&A. So please put your questions down below with #Q&A and I'll do a Q&A for you guys. But the last thing I want to talk about is the fact that it changed my gifts. It fine-tuned my gifts. I want to just preference that no one's special. Everyone has gifts. But it really tuned my awareness of intuition and awareness of who I am and awareness of what I hold. And it made me more aware of that. And I was able to hear more things. My dreams became more prevalent. I also noticed that my gifts with my hands became more prevalent. My channeling with ancestral wisdom became more prevalent. I started to tap into something so much deeper that I couldn't even put words to. And I started to see energy even when I was not microdosing as well, which was really potent. And I also was like aware of the energy that was like moving through me and around me. And I could see, I literally consciously could see in light day, light beings, and I still can, and alien beings and ancestors and guides and people's guides. And it was really potent to see that. I was receiving this direct channel from the divine, and I'm so grateful for that. Yeah, so it's really helped me with that. I'm seeing there's so many things. I want to make it a short video, but I also want to share so much more. This medicine has also helped me with PTSD. Something that maybe a lot of people don't know is I had PTSD based on traumas that I had before, physical traumas. And because of that, I was shaking. My body was, I was constantly, a little pin would drop and it would give me a full body ricochet in my body, and I would feel it. And what these mushrooms helped me do is allowed me to calm the body and reset the body, reset the nerves. And I don't have it anymore. I don't define with PTSD anymore. I'm so grateful for that. I'm so beyond grateful. It helped me with trauma dreams. It helped me with being able to not have a stutter, not mumble. It helped me with feeling in my body more confident, feeling more confident myself, who I am. It helped me heal my womb, which is one of the beautiful things. I'm so grateful for these mushrooms because it actually weaved my purpose of helping so many women, which is part of my gifts of being able to heal and be an energetic doula. So I'm super grateful for that. It has honestly been the medicine, one of my first medicines of connecting, and I'm so beyond grateful to be able to be with this medicine and to share the wisdom of this medicine. And it is a great honor to do so after 7 years of microdosing, studying with this medicine, connecting with this medicine, understanding this medicine, and the ancient wisdom it holds. And it is such an honor to be able to connect with it, but also to share it with the collective. So I'm super grateful for that. So now that you guys know a little bit more about the benefits and how microdosing mushrooms has changed my life over the 7+ years, let me know down below, how has it changed your life if you have sat with mushrooms, or maybe even writing if you haven't. What are some things that you're calling in for the mushrooms to support you and change your life? So I'm going to talk a little bit more about how to microdose. I want to share with you guys, this is what works for me. Everyone's different, and to know that it is intuitive as well. So it's very, very intuitive. There's no right or wrong way. However, there are some things to consider. So when microdosing, usually people will have them either in a capsule or have it dry, whatever is best for you. For me, I take it in a capsule. Usually they come in different increments: 75 milligrams, 100, 130, 135, 200. So that's usually the ratio as far as microdose. On average, people usually range between 100 and 135 is the average. Now, this is on the basis of other people. Some people are more sensitive to the medicine, like myself. I don't need that much to go deep, and some days I might, right? So be intuitive with it. The best advice I can give you is start lower, because you don't know how the medicine will come through and connect with you, and maybe even do it on a weekend where you know that you'll be there. You can still microdose while you're in your day. Don't worry, you're just more intuitively aware. So that's the beauty of microdosing. Now, the grid and kind of the play of how I microdose is either a 4-day or 3-day schedule. And this is the way that I do it. So I either for 3 days, I microdose the medicine in a row, 3 or 4 days in a row, okay? What that looks like is that you do the medicine in the morning and you have it with water. Do not have it with caffeine. The mushrooms do not like caffeine, so don't have it with caffeine, but you can have it with water or tea, right? I like to personally have my medicine in the morning after meditation, intentionally really sitting with it. And then I just don't eat that morning until I have my breakfast around late morning or lunch, okay? So that's usually how I flow with it. The importance is the integrative days and your off days. So you never want to be microdosing every single day. What can happen is you can be sustainable to the medicine, but also what can happen on a more gut space is when you have too much of anything, it becomes toxic, as I said, right? So when you have too much of it, it can cause a lot of fungi in the stomach, and on the long term, it can create candida, it can create gut issues, leaky gut. There's a lot that I can talk about on that. But yeah, you just want to make sure that you have these off days because, and this is with anything, right? Anything of too much of anything will create side effects. So the purpose of these off days, 3 or 4, so you equal them to the days on, right, is for you to be able to integrate the medicine. The medicine is still with you. Something what a lot of people don't know is when you sit with the medicine once, it's always activated within you. So these days are an opportunity for you to still have the medicine in your system, in your being, but to connect it, to integrate. What can I integrate in those past few days, right? And it will still support you, will still be there for you to help you out. Now, this is where the schedule is very intentional and intuitive to you. Some people like to do this over a month period and take a month off. Some people like to do it for 2 months and take 2 months off. But the biggest part is to make sure that you take a break from the microdosing schedule, okay? And again, I'm sharing this as a beginner for beginners, right? I'm sharing this as a beginner. There's an intermediate and there's an advanced, which I can talk a little bit more about. But all in all, like, this is the basic. I don't even want to say there's intermediate and advanced. This is the general part that people should do. Is the easiest protocol to follow. There's other protocols, but I find this one is just clean. Like 3 days on, 3 days off, right? If you do this for 2 weeks, maybe you want to take a week off. But it is important that you're not doing it for 12 months of the year, that you're doing 3 days on, 3 days off, 3 days on. You want to make sure that, again, the intentionality of microdosing mushrooms is so that you can heal, not so you can be dependent on the healing and the medicine itself. Right? Healing is not a state. It is a space of what is eternal, and it continues to happen in our life. So we want to really respect these mushrooms and these allies. It's so, so important. Okay. So one of the biggest tips to do during your microdosing and when you are microdosing is to have a journal and to write down things that you're noticing. So what are some differences you're feeling in your body, in your energy? What are some emotions that are coming up? What are some things you're aware of your intuition? What are some dreams that you are having? These are all things that you can write down to allow you to be consciously aware of what's coming up throughout your process of microdosing. Okay, so the last thing I will share with you guys is knowing that everything is a ceremony, even though you're not sitting and doing a full dose of the mushrooms, to really respect and be intentional with it. So like I shared, I usually do a meditation and I sit with it in my morning routine, and then I ingest the medicine. Now for each person's different, but really tuning in that we don't want to put this medicine. I heard someone that they put it on pizza, and I was like, that's very unintentional, and I'm pretty sure they do not appreciate that. So again, you want to really make sure that you're intentional with everything that you do, and you're not just putting it wherever. You're really connecting with the medicine itself. Okay, if you feel for any reason that you are sensitive to the medicine, some tips that can be helpful for you is having some ginger tea that can help with the stomach as well. Usually microdose, it doesn't tend to happen, but for some people, especially if it's your first time, this might be supportive for you to have a nice ginger tea or lemongrass tea, and this will help you, or you can put the two together to help soothe the stomach, and you can ingest it with the medicine. So that is all for microdosing and how microdosing has changed my life over the 7+ years, how to microdose, as well as the benefits of it. There's a lot I can share with it. What will really support you is if you share down below what are some questions you have, what are some ideas of videos you'd like me to share on microdosing, and tell me more about your experience, and feel free to share it back here in the video and to save this video if you want to come back to it. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like, subscribe, put notification bell so you don't miss a video. And if you are interested in an intentional plant medicine ceremony, you can go check out my links down below, my bio. And yeah, I hope that this inspires you, supports you, educates you, and helps you really understand the spirit of the mushroom and how it is meant to be held and and ingested and connected with and really used for healing for us in humanity. So sending you deepest love, and I'm sending you so much. I'll see you in the next video.